before we get into the main part of this, the part that you're here for, and don't tune out, please. I actually like want to talk about like 3x3s, like, because I didn't really know the concept before I started this. Like, I think I'd seen them around, but I don't know. Like, I guess to make it simple, like, Shaw, can you, to the viewers that don't know, explain what 3x3s are?
Yeah, sure. So 3x3s are short for saying, 3 boxes by 3 boxes. So it's essentially a photo collage of 8 pictures that are commonly used in the anime community to showcase your favorites. I honestly don't know who was the first 3x3er. I have no idea. But I do think even back since when I was frequenting Reddit back in like 2015, it was a way for people to kind of like highlight and showcase their favorites. And, it's a bit more fun to showcase a visual medium in a visual way, especially when you can use like really cool pictures, fan art, or actual screenshots from the show to showcase your favorites. So I've just kind of always known them as part of the community as a way to showcase your favorites. And I think they translate really well, especially to like Twitter, Reddit, as I said, even I think on 4chan, there's a lot of 4chan threads where people will just be like, oh yeah, post your favorite anime 3x3s. And it's always cool because you can say you have like 8 shows that everyone recognizes, and then you have that 9th show that no one knows, and you see a cool shot from that, you'll be like, oh hey, like what's that from? And someone will be like, oh yeah, this is from like Monogatari. And then you could say, oh, like, is that a cool show? And it kind of sparks interest in other series, And I think it's kind of a really cool way just to showcase the different series in the medium while also putting like 9 things you really like all in the same picture. And it's kind of fun to look at.
So how does so I guess they've been around for a while. We don't know where it started. That's fine.
Before our time, Before our time. The ancient legends.
But like, so how does the community feel like about 3x3s? Is it like kind of like a rite of passage? Is it kind of done by everyone? Is it more like, only certain people do them and other people are like, okay, here's another person with a 3x3?
Yeah, so you definitely get those. When I posted that, I tried to like hype up our fight, like boxers do, try and hyping up the fight.
Pay-per-view.
I tried to be, yeah, this is on pay-per-view, guys. You get the free preview. Yeah, so there's definitely like anti 3x3 people, which is like a very extra perspective, in my opinion. Like, I understand not wanting to see people spam pictures all the time, but when you consider how much shit gets spam on a regular basis, I think like pretty pictures is like not that offensive compared to half of the shit we see all the time. But you do get some people who are kind of like overwhelmed with the 3x3s, but I would say the majority of people really enjoy them. I think what happens is you don't make a 3x3, you see everyone else make them, and you're like, man, I don't like that. Then you finish something you really like, and you're like, okay, I think I have enough for a 3x3. You make your own, share it, and then get like feedback on it, and then you're kind of addicted to it. Like, I think once you do it yourself and realize how fun it is, then you kind of like warm up to it. And I've seen people go from like anti 3x3, then they make one, love it, make 20. And then they're like, oh yeah, I love these things. Because it's really fun. It's fun to put multiple things you like in the same spot and look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is just like my favorites. This is me.
I mean, it is, this was my first time ever doing one, and it is convenient, to have once it's done. Like, the process was not, it was not fun. I don't know. It was difficult to like pick a shot that wasn't just like the cover, like promo shot of the show, and to like find the good shot and that's not overused either.
Yeah.
And to just put it on there. But are you one of those that have done like 20 or 30?
I've made hundreds. I think it's not an exaggeration to say I've made hundreds, because not even just recently, because back when I was using Reddit a lot, there would be like 3x3 Thursday, and my friend Smurf would run it, and it would be a weekly thread, and he'd come up with a different topic each week, which was really fun. So it would be like, instead of just favorite anime or like favorite characters or waifus, it would be like favorite characters whose names start with the letter R. So then you think of like 9 characters whose names start with R, and you put those together, or like favorite superpowers. And I think it's like a really fun exercise, because outside of favorite anime or favorite characters or favorite opening, things you kind of commonly think about, it's cool when you have to think back to all the different series you've seen and be like, okay, how many characters do I like whose names begin with R? And then it kind of pulls on like all of the different series you've seen. And you might be like, oh, maybe, for example, I'm sure a lot of people remember this. Like, oh yeah, I watched Black Lagoon. I love Revy. You know, I haven't thought of Black Lagoon in like a year, but because of this topic, I'm like, oh yeah, I loved Revy. She was really fun, badass. Like, let me put her on there. And then it's kind of bringing up positive memories you used to have that you might not have thought of on an everyday basis.
Yeah, it's definitely like similar to the Mal experience, which you're keeping track. Like, there's a lot of upfront work, but then you kind of watching anime seasonally and just going forward through the motions, you kind of forget a lot of these little details. But when you're forced to kind of put them down, it's like, oh, hey, you know, I didn't remember that, or that's nice, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you get to appreciate it once it's done. But I don't think I was ever drawn to them because, full disclosure, I hate collages. Like, not looking at them, you know, looking at them is pretty, but doing them, like whenever, like in art class, you know, the assignment for the week, they'd bring up, oh, hey, it's collages. I'm like, oh God, Jesus, no.
I think when you have too much, it can be frustrating. I think when you have too much, but like when you get a focus, like say you have a topic, like favorite anime, you have 9 pictures. You don't have to go like digging through magazines to find the different, like, you know, lettering or pictures. Because I remember those collages and I'd be like, okay, I just don't want to deal with this. But when it's a focused topic and you only have like so many things to pull from, I think it makes it a bit more fun. But I do like 3x3s as a like almost artistic person, and you're definitely like an actual artistic person. So I think since you're on that level of like actually being artistically talented, it might just be like too frustrating for you because you're too talented.
No, don't spin it that way.
It is. No, it is. Because I'm like, okay, I can't draw these pictures. So I might as well take other drawings that people have made and put them all together. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just like, you know, thanks for the setup. I'll just spike with this 3x3 made of other people's actually talented drawings.
Oh, I could see like that line of thinking because I did always prefer drawing. Like I was like, you know, free drawing session in art class was the best. You know, you could draw whatever, but collage was like, I'm not cutting stuff out of a magazine. But I know, but digital is easier. The fact that you can digitally pull pictures and not have to go through magazines, that, you know, it's not as hard. But you know, I don't know, this whole,
I think it is, you're just actually too talented. I think that's the problem.
Stop it.
It's true.
I think like what, so let's get into this specific showdown that we're having, which part of me didn't feel like, I don't know, maybe you can elaborate more on it because I'm new to this scene. I just didn't think it fully made sense to have a competition between two people's 3x3s, just because like my
we
thought
needed
is
to hype up the episode.
No, I know. But, way to ruin the marketing, Onimo.
Oh, sorry. This is like
no, it was me. But no, like, is that normally done? Do people normally compare each other's 3x3s? No,
I don't think so. I think
because
they might compare it to their
how
old
can you compare
favorites.
people's favorites? You know, you're like, your favorites suck.
Yeah, especially when we have like similar favorites. Like we pretty much like every show we've seen in the other person. So I mean, we're definitely like, if anyone's going to war over favorites, it should not be us. It should be us and people who have completely different favorites who feel very differently about series.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like the only other way I could see it being a competition is if it's based on the mosaic itself, not the favorites in them, like, you know, the color coordination and all that stuff, which I saw Shaw is really good at. I was like, mine, I was like, nope.
There's actually like a semi-funny background because so I use 3x3s as like a umbrella term for anime mosaics, but a lot of times I also make like I like making bigger ones too. Like I made a big 7x7, which sounds obnoxious, especially if you just made a 3x3, and the idea of making a 7x7 might be like, okay, you need to stop. Like you need to get a job, touch grass, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really fun because I saw someone who made one for all of their favorites. So it's essentially a top 50, but it's 49 because, you know, 7 times 7. So
that's a lot.
It's a lot. But like when you've seen a lot of anime, it's kind of cool to be like, okay, I've seen these shows. Now I don't have to leave stuff off, because I know that you had to leave some off and you're probably like, okay, I really like this show almost as much as my 9th show. I don't want to leave that off. So you just like open up the gates and make a lot more. And this other person, I think their username is Hickey. I think Hiki, not like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a, it's a weeb hickey, not like physical hickey. So
it's bad that the first thing I thought of was Hickey from Oregairu or My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu.
no, that's good. That's good. That's the level we want to be on, not the degenerate level. But that's how you can tell this is just weebs. So they made a like almost like a color themed one. So they had different quadrants that were made of different colors, and then I ripped them off. Wow. And so I ripped them off, but I like credited them because I'm like, yo, I didn't come up with this. This is a cool idea. I made that. That one did like very well, and I'm still surprised that people like are super into them. I'm still surprised at that. But that one did really well. And then in a really cool turn of events, after tons of people made their own, then High Dive, the company, the streaming service, made their own anime. So I was like, we, as the Mosaic community, got a corporate Twitter account to make a 7x7 of their favorite anime. Love that.
So not only are you guys part of Annie Twitter, you are a subdivision of the Mosaic community of Annie Twitter.
I'd say, yeah, kind of like very unofficially, because anyone can join it. You make one, you're part of it.
Yeah,
you're there. It's the most accepting community.
I actually need to know. I'm curious. Are there Mosaic elitists? Are there like, you've only made one Mosaic. I, on the other hand, have made 500. And yours does not touch mine.
No, funny enough, there is like a period where I guess we had like, okay, it's like so joking because it's just like essentially, our friend group on Twitter. Like you've interacted with these people. It's not like, we're not talking about like the super untouchable people of Twitter. I don't even know who those
I'm
people
talking to one of them, by the way.
No. So we had like the big four of Mosaic Twitter, which I like the idea of because I always like, Elite Four, like, in Pokemon and like Kill la Kill where you have those. I think that's really funny.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So we had the Elite Four of Mosaic Twitter. I don't even know who the whole group would be, but it's essentially me and my friend Fume. She is on the Podcasting is War podcast. She has the Kaguya profile picture. We both have made probably the most mosaics, and she's definitely a lot more critical of them than I am. She has like criteria that she likes when she sees people, and she, she's really complimentary towards others, but she's also like, hey, you could have used this shot, you could have done this. And I'm like, I'm good, fam. Just like pretty pictures, whatever.
You're just like I'm glad you did one. That's it. You get the award for just trying.
Yeah, I'm like the kindergarten teacher of mosaics, like gold stars for everyone if you make them.
That's pretty funny. So you're no longer the anime mosaic queen. You're just the kindergarten teacher of mosaic.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it when like Simon like goes from like the leader and then he becomes like a normal person and he's teaching the kid how to like open a coconut at the end? That's me. That's where I'm at.
I have to shout out this comment in the chat from Mozilla Fennekin. He said you could say that F is more critical than others.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, like, and they're dating, of course, so that's really funny. But yeah, she's definitely a lot more critical. I definitely get where she's coming from with that. Like sometimes I'll criticize people's in my head, but at the end of the day, it's like a photo mosaic with anime pictures. So like, unless someone's asking me what I think of theirs, I'm not gonna like come at them and be like, color scale, not that good. I'm not gonna throw shade.
Last question on this, and then I promise, chat, we're going to get into this with a fury. Mm-hmm. Do you think, I guess, two-part question. Do you think doing an anime mosaic, trying one, is important, or maybe secondary part of that question, do you think figuring out your favorites, which goes into that, is important?
I mean, it's like kind of in the eye of the beholder, like if you really value the media and you like talking about your favorites and you like kind of thinking about what makes it important to you, then I think it's important. But I'm never going to tell someone like you need to make an anime mosaic or like you need to figure out your favorites. It's just something I very much enjoy. I've always enjoyed like making top 10 lists, kind of, putting them all kind of to war in my head over like which series do I like more than others. I hear people be like, it's like choosing between my kids. I'm like, yeah, I'm choosing between my kids every day. I'm going to do it. But because they're not actually kids, they're just TV shows. But I always think it's interesting to kind of see like, what do I value the most? What do I enjoy the most? What makes this show more important to me than this other series? And that's something I also can appreciate with like anime mosaics where like, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm like, this picture is just my, experience with anime in a picture, in one picture. Like hundreds and hundreds of hours of watching shows. This is like the end game. This is what I've come up with. So it's important to me. I don't think it's important to everyone, but if it is something that you think would be important to you, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot.
Okay. And like the whole picking your favorites, that's hard. I don't even know why I did this. I was like legit tempted to do what I've been doing for like the past few years, which is just list Evangelion 9 times.
You should do that. They probably have so many spin-offs. You could do it like
probably
Evo.
The rebuilds, everything.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I've seen that done.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to commit, and also like kudos to, because I did see some other mosaics while I was researching this stuff for a little bit, and people either have a good eye or find really good screenshots that that's the other thing. It makes you appreciate certain scenes that, you were watching in motion and kind of like it just went by quick, but then when you freeze frame on, it's like, oh, that had a really good shot. Where is that from? What episode was that from?
It's definitely made the process overall has definitely made me appreciate color design, composition, and just general art design in general, because a lot of that is lost on me because I'm like blind half the time. So like being able to go through a series and be like, this has like a lot of really good standalone shots, and I know how it looks in motion, but like all of these standalone shots are like really impressive, and it helps me appreciate it more retroactively.
Yeah, and I think I'm slowly gaining that appreciation.